Alright, today we are going to be changing our transmission fluid and our filters on an Allison 2400 RDS. Now this 2400 RDS I have is yet again on my 07 Fuso. First, we're going to go ahead and take out the drain plug. We're going to drain the pan out the way. Don't worry if you don't get all the fluid out of here, because we're going to let down the pan anyway and change the internal filter as well. Now, I had changed my external spin-on filter about 200 miles ago, but I'm going to go ahead and take it off and show you guys how to do it properly, because there's one thing that people forget to do, and that is they forget to take the magnet off the filter and put on the new one. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So first, I'm going to go ahead and open up the drain plug. Go ahead and look at the magnet. I don't see any debris in there, so then we'll inspect the oil. Make sure there's no pixie dust or Tinkerbells living in here. I bought this truck about 2,000 miles ago. Had to change the head gasket, the cylinder head, and the radiator. But whoever had it for me, they haven't done the oil. They had transmission oil in a while, so it's time to do it before we start putting some serious work on this truck. Fluid's a dark red. It's again a little brown, but so it's time to change it before we start having any real problems with it. Oh, too much, stop. This thing's getting full. Right, these things hold quite a bit of fluid, so make sure your pan's big enough or you catch in time before it overflows your pan and makes a large mess. So that was about 2 gallons that came out, and this should probably, who knows, bring closer to 2.5, maybe 3, we'll see. Again, we're going to let the pan down and we're going to change the internal filter. Alright, around the pan, you're going to have several 13mm bolts dotting the perimeter of this pan. We're going to go ahead and remove those now. Let me get a longer extension. All right, here we go. I had to use a skinnier one to get to this one, so I'll come back to it later. Alright, I've taken out all but 2 of the bolts, so I'm going to hold the pan up. I'll go ahead and remove the last 2 that I have here. And I'll gently take the pan down. So get yourself in a somewhat comfortable position to support the pan. Okay, pan is free. Now I'm gonna gently let it down. Now you see the filter is right here, so I'm gonna let the pan down so without making a mess, that is. Alright, so here's the filter, here's all those solenoids, and here's inside the pan. Go ahead, let this drip out, and then I'm gonna drain this out, and we're gonna, well, drain this out. Let me make sure I'm pointing the camera down. Alright, so here's the filter we're replacing. Here's all the solenoids. I'm gonna inspect in here, make sure I don't see any metal or anything abnormal. Then I'm gonna drain that little pan into here, and then we're gonna make sure there's no crazy pieces of metal or shavings or Tinkerbell or any of that nonsense in here. Alright, let's go ahead and pull the filter down. Should be able to just gently wiggle it down, and we have some fluid coming out. Now I'm going to take it, put it in my drain pan right next to the camera. Alright. Now I had a new filter around here somewhere. That should be too far away. There it is, on top of the fuel tank. Here's the new filter. Make sure we have a gasket around it. Make certain that the old filter, I'm gonna not pull them away. Make sure the old filter has this gasket on before you put it on here, because you don't want a double gasket, because that can go in the wrong spot. Now we're going to take the pan and go ahead and push it up in there, and you're done. Give it a good snug. And now we're going to go ahead and put the pan back on after I drain the old pan and clean up the mating surface. Like now on camera, I'm pretty sure that you can't really replicate the exact color that I'm seeing, but it's very dark. You can still see it's red, but it's turning reddish brown. So, like I said, it's really time to change the fluid. Let's go ahead and pour it into the container. While I pour, I'm looking for metal. I don't see any. I can kind of see a little bit of the color we're looking at. Pretty dark reddish brown. I do believe this is a magnet right here. So I guess that like picks up all the little whatever. As you can see, it's nothing crazy. Go ahead and clean that up. Should have used a better rag. There we go. Let me get a different rag. All right. Now we'll go ahead and put back up the pan. Now Allison says that their gaskets are reusable, but obviously inspect them. We inspect the gasket, and we're gonna make sure there's no cracking, no fraying. It's not excess hard. It's a metal gasket or so with, you know, plastic. Make sure it's not worn through. The surfaces are in good condition. Then we're gonna turn it over. We're gonna check the other side as well. If your gasket is in good shape, then also make sure I have it on the right side. There we go. Alright, go ahead and get a couple bolts started, and we're gonna send the pan on back up. There we go. This one started. Get this corner one next. There we go. All right. Now I did forget to clean the mating surface up there. I did forget to clean the mating surface up there and inspect it, make sure there isn't any RTV. I don't think you're supposed to be using RTV with this to begin with, but there wasn't any up there to begin with. There wasn't any like metal shavings or anything in the pan that will warrant concern. But next time it would be good practice to make sure that I wipe that mating surface on the gasket up there. Because some applications, it may be the difference between a leak or a trouble-free seal. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up a little more. There we go. Yeah, let me push these up completely and tighten it down. Just make it turn going. There we go. That should help with that. If you notice one thing, notice that I've started all of them by hand. I am not starting it off with an impact, because that's a great way to strip a bolt out. Or, yes, a bolt, or mess up the mounting hole. And then you're gonna have to re-chase a hole, maybe bore it out and put a helical or something in there. So once I get that all in, I'm going to go ahead and get my impact, and then I'm going to snug it down gently just to rump all the way, and I'm going to finish it off by hand. Do not ugga-dug it down to smithereens and back. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the pan makers up and let the bolts ride it up to it. Then we'll come across this core like so, like a crisscross pattern. I didn't mean to ran that one. Then come this corner over here, run it up. See middle. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to torque these by hand. Start in the corner. Keep them across like so. Opposite end. Tighten it down. Over here. Now let's go over one more time. Well, didn't get those two. Ew. Go once around. Make sure they're nice and tight. Definitely don't want the pan coming loose on us. Transmission being so far back, you won't know until you just can't shift anymore. And by then you might burn out your transmission. So once more around. Doesn't hurt. Alright. Come on, get on there. There we go. Alright. Now I need to tighten back up this drain plug. Alright, nice and tight. Good. Alright, so the fluid that we're putting here is going to be a Castrol Transin 668 Allison transmission fluid. I got this off of Amazon. I also got this particular head that goes on the bucket. It has a little spout. That little spot where I found I can put it is actually where you would put the dipstick. You actually stick it in right here. So I'm going to pull the dipstick out of the way. Put it in there pretty deep. Alright. Put the dipstick out to the side. We're going to lose it. Go ahead and turn the bucket around. Pretty much just going to start pumping until I'm going to keep an eye up there, make sure it doesn't backfeed, sit onto the ground. It's taking it, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep pumping it. See, I have a little leak in the seal right here. I prefer to go into transmission, not into the bucket, or rather all over it. Now this is a 5-gallon bucket, but I've taken out about a gallon. So I'm going to pump about till I'm about halfway down, put the dipstick in, and I'm going to recheck the level. Because the last thing you want to do is overfill your transmission. You don't want to underfill a transmission, and you don't want to overfill a transmission. Underfill for obvious reasons, and overfill will actually cause it to aerate. And air bubbles collapse and doesn't lubricate things, so it causes things to break down real fast. What is that? Some poor ant made his way into my transmission fluid. Luckily he came out before he went into transmission. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off now, and then I'll put it back on to when I'm closer to it, the level that is. Alright, I put quite a bit of pumps in here. Let's go ahead and pull this out and check the fluid level to make sure I don't overfill it. So the engine, well, yes, the engine as well, but the engine and transmission is cold. So there are 2 spots in the dipstick, one for cold and one for hot. So we're going to adhere to the cold. We're going to pull it out. And we're about there. You're going to turn the truck on, put it in neutral, and we're going to let this thing run until it gets up to operating temperature, which will take quite a while. This is a very big engine and transmission. And once we do that, we're going to check in the dipstick, make sure the level is correct. Also give it a chance for the transmission fluid to settle inside the dipstick, so that way we don't get a false reading as well. Let's see. While we have the truck running, we're also going to do is check for leaks underneath there as well. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the engine run, and all the fluid that's in the fill line, I'm going to give it a chance to settle, because what's happening is when I put the dipstick in after I fill it, I'm getting a false reading because it's coating the whole entire line. So I'm going to let it settle down for a while, and we'll check again in a few minutes. really see it. We're a little over. A little over. That's okay. So what I'll do is I'll take the oil filter off, because that's an extra tall one. I'll drain that out. That should help us get down to where it needs to. Obviously with the truck off, of course. Now we take the oil filter out with it running, it's going to piss right out. Okay, so what we're going to do is, to get it down to the level we need to, we're just going to go ahead and take the oil filter off and dump that out, and that should bring us down to normal. Alright, let's go ahead and take off the filter now. We'll drain it out until we get to the desired level. Now it's going to be a good time to show you that magnet I was talking about earlier. So we have our pan ready. Watch out, the fluid might be a little hot. Here it comes. Looks a lot more cleaner. Now granted, it's still going to mix with the rest of the truck, or at least the rest of the transmission fluid here, so it's going to have a little dirtiness to it, but we got the majority of that dirty old fluid. Alright, nice and easy, here we go. Alright, now this is the magnet that I was talking about earlier. A common thing that people forget to do is, when they take out their old filter, this will be stuck on here. It's quite easy to forget because most of the time when we do oil filters, as we're mostly used to, there's not a magnet on there. So what you do, we just throw this away. But on transmissions, there's going to be a magnet. Now this one's pretty much clean. I'm going to give it another wipe off and install it, because I'm going to reuse this oil filter, because again, I only used this 200 miles ago, so there's no need to waste a good filter. So when you have one of these filters, you get the new one, remember to take the magnet off the old one, clean it, and install the new one. Alright, so let me go ahead and clean this up and come back. Alright, so again, we're going to take our magnet, we're going to wipe it clean. Now, not much is going to come off of it because I have wiped it clean before. Nice and clean, alright? So now let's set this off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the body of this filter because, again, I'm going to reuse it. It's in good shape. It's 200 miles. The oil was good condition, so it doesn't warrant needing to swap this whole entire filter out. Okay. Get it nice and clean. Definitely need to write the date on there. I'm going to take a little oil and I'm going to put it on the gasket. Alright, go ahead and take the magnet, reinstall it, make sure it's about center, and go ahead and put it back up. Okay. I'm going to screw it up back there. So this particular filter, as you can probably see, is called PPE. I think Pacific Products or Engineers. I'm not sure. I know it starts with Pacific Products or something like that. Oh, Pacific Performance Engineering. Yeah. This filter is about double the capacity of a normal Allison, I should say OEM Allison filter. It'll stick down low much, not a lot, but it is quite lower than the OEM one. But it holds double the filter. Double the filter. The filter holds double the oil capacity. Alright, let's go ahead and start the truck up. Let it fill the filter. And we may have to take this off one more time, maybe two. But we'll do it that way until we get to the desired level, rather than drain from here and then potentially losing way too much and then going back and forth. Let's go ahead and clean this stuff up here. much better. Just where we want it to be. Keep the thing down. See if I can't pick it on the lights. So if we look in the back of it, can't really tell, but it is just where we need it to be. Not overfilled and not underfilled. So, with that being said, that's how you change your transmission fluid and filters on an Allison 2400 RDS. This will apply to any of the Allison 1000, 2000s. I'm not too sure about the 3000 series, but I would imagine his Allison, it will probably be the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hope you liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave me any questions in the comments you need to, and I'll get back with you. Till then, enjoy.